Kunjara Yudhambu Domakuttukan Chachan. This is a saying in the language Telugu. The verbatim meaning is a group of elephants enter into the throat of a mosquito. How is it possible? That was deciphered in the story Bharata, saying the warriors, mighty warriors, Pandava, they entered the court of Virata Raja during the period of Ajnatavasa. That is a context, but it has a much brighter context for us to be elevated. The universe was earlier the element of existence, Sat. It stabilized itself as Sat-Cit-Ananda. In brief, element of existence should be stabilized by activating it to accomplishment. It should never be lost. It should never be out of the comprehension. Now, once the element of existence Sat is stabilized as Satchidananda, it should come into the action, karma. Karma is always supposed to be designed to be in terms of Satchidananda. The Satchidananda in English we call it as Yada. Yada is element of existence, activation, revelation, dwelling, discrimination, awareness, accomplishment. This Yada. Universe should be in terms of Yada. Consciousness of Yada, that is by design. So, it is designed as Deva. In English we call as God. God is something unknown. But language Samskrita does not define it that way. Divu Kridado. Krida, Vijigisa, Vyavahar, Duti, Stuti, Moda, Pramoda, 10 characteristics are given like this. It is Krida, activation or action is always in terms of Yada. And success is always in terms of Yada. Vyavahara, the transaction, the get going of the entire, wherever it is in terms of Satchidananda. Moda, pleasure, satisfaction, awareness, everything is in terms of Satchidananda, Yada. Having designed this much, further it is designed as Bhagavan Lakshana. Bhagavana is Shakti Jnana Tejo Virya Bala Aishwarya. In short, it is a capacity to sustain it, maintain it. Capacity to sustain Yada in terms of the characteristics of Deva, God. That is Bhagavan. This much is the seed of the universe. With this seed, the universe is designed and released. Beings are also designed and released. Later, the beings are to activate, they should have a conducting medium, and the conducting media are the physical bodies. For that, the 5 elements come. Atmanah Akasha Sambhutah Akashad Vayuh Vayuragnihi Agnerapah Adbhyah Prithivya Orshatayah Orshatibhyah Annam Annat Purushah. Atmanah Akasha. Thus, this designed by that seed, the design is a subjectivity. Subjectivity, say I am. With that subjectivity, that from that subjectivity come these 5 elements. So these five elements are subjectified by this consciousness of Yada with the characteristics of God and Bhagavan. That is, capacity to sustain. So that five elements and number of gods, Devata. Hindu philosophy, there are Narayana, Vishnu, Shiva, and so-called female goddess, Lakshmi, Parvati, Saraswati, Kali, plenty. And in other religions, say Jesus and Muhammad or Allah, all, all are deities. They are all of the same potentials. यथा महांति भूतानि भूतेषु उच्चावचेष्वनु pravishtani apravishtani tatha teshu na tesvaham. All the five elements are in this physical body. They are not operating this jiva or this physical body. They are not operating from external source. They are operating within. They are within, but the beings are not able to identify. So much so, they are not able to identify the physical elements. How can they identify the non-physical element, the Godhead, the deities, and the universe, Yada? Not possible. However, it is a design element. It cannot be escaped. It cannot be denied. Now, all these are Kunjara Yutham. Kunjara Yutham is a group of elephants. The popular meaning of that word is the group of elephants. But the language Samskrita defines every word. Kunjara Yudhamu, Kushabde, sounded, Jani Pradurbhave, revealed, Ra Dane, being given. Now, all these elements from Yada to deities and the five elements, the entire group of things which we try to adore, all of them are Kunjara. That is, they are sounded by the man unknowingly. They sound the man knowingly, consciously. And by sounding, they reveal to him. They reveal to him. And they bless him with all their potentials. You follow? They bless the beings with all their potentials. So they are Kunjara. Kunjara Yudha. Yudha is familiar meaning is a group. But it is not that. You mishrane amishrane dhatu. They are not simply sounding and trying to reveal to them. They uh, synthesize with him. It's not that they are separate entity and the beings are separate entity and they try to uh, induct their characteristics to him. It is not like that. They are within. This is how, because subjectivity is with the man also. Subjectivity, whatever is subjectivity with the man, it is the same subjectivity of consciousness of Yada with the entire universe, with all the deities, Allah, Muhammad, Rama, Krishna, Narayana. Subjectivity, everything subjectivity is consciousness of Yada. So it is not that the characteristical Kunjara, what we said, they are somewhere away and then trying to induct some characteristics or trying to make him potentialize being as a separate entity. This is our familiar idea. This is the common sense of the people. But as per design, there is nothing like a second entity for anything. They are verily with us unified. This is Yudha. They are unified with us, one entity with us. Let us understand by one logic. Say a man committed a mistake. Later, he corrects. Where from he correct? Was this corrected entity with him even earlier, or it came from somewhere else later? Definitely does not come from somewhere else. What really happened is he has that potential with him, but by illusion, he adopts to a separate entity, a wrong formation, wrong framing. That wrong framing, he has to correct it. Once the wrong framing is corrected, the inherent crops up, flourishes. This is the theory. This is the logic we see everywhere in the world today. This is the logic of universe. This is not the logic of the world. This is not the logic of illusion. This is the logic of universe. So man is highly potential, synthesized and synchronized with all the potentials of the universe as per the design. This is Kunjara Yudha. Now, this Kunjara Yudha enters the throat of a mosquito. This is a familiar meaning. This statement, exactly said in the language Samskrita, is Kunjara Yudha Masakasya Kante Vivesa. It is not mosquito, Masaka. Masaka is Masha Shabde Roshecha. The beings are the mosquitoes, Masaka. They are of two categories. One is Shabde, another is Roshi. The superior man, he responds to the sounding done by the external, the potentials. All the potentials, the rich potentials of the universe, they try to sound him. And this rich man, this positive man, gives response to it in the equal tone. And then he feels happy, he feels satisfied by that, and he tries to get himself elevated. This is one type of mashaka. Familiar is mosquito. Another is roshi. Another man always rejects, reluctant. He throws away. He is always, and all the more he grows angry. He says all this will make negative potentials for me. He'll say he feels that all these potentials are negatives for him. To that extent, he tries to be free in his attitudes. This effort of freedom in the attitude makes man turbulent. But nevertheless, his design is not changed. He is rejecting his design. He thinks that he is rejecting the universe. He is rejecting the Godhead. He is rejecting the five elements. He is rejecting the moral education. He is rejecting his subjectivity. No, he is rejecting himself. This is the designed concept. Designed concept. But that man is very stubborn in his reluctant way. So that is another mashaka. So now what is happening is mashakasya kante vivesa. All these potentials, they enter the kanta. Kanta is familiar, is throat. This is a familiar worldly sense of saying it. Kanta is kati shabde dhatu. They make him sound. They make sound. Who? Kunjara Yudha, that is consciousness of Yada, all these potentials, they enter these two types of mashaka and make them sound. That is entering the throat. They make them sound. They make them give a response. The response is positive with the real man, real enthusiastic man. That is also a response. And the reluctant man, he also gives response. His response is reluctant. His reluctance is, in a way, whether he is giving a reluctant answer or he is considering the universe, his design. He is considering the design and is reluctant. He is rejecting it. He is not rejecting anything else. He is in that potential of the design, in that potential, in that bias, he is rejecting it. He may reject it, but he cannot escape from his bias, his base. That is the secret of the universe. That is the secret of sounding a reluctant man. So, once the more he is reluctant, he feels the shallowness. He feels the shallowness. He is not able to fill it by his potentials, rich potentials of design. He is not able to fill it, so he is bursting out. But soon he will find the pain out of it. He will convert. Sure. This is the reality. The language Samskrita Veda also says man is Brahman. Brahman is not a deity. Brahman is the elevation of a being. The elevation of a being is Brahman. He will elevate. But the reluctant man will do it in a reluctant way. So he will take more time. The positive man, he is closer to it. He will gain it soon. Right. Now, this is Vijaya Dasamii. Vijaya is victory. Dasami is the state of victory. Now, Vijaya Dasami, people take it as a festival, celebrate. The celebrating man always goes for celebrating away from the design. But if he takes it as a holy event, he will see holiness everywhere. He can see holiness everywhere only when when he can sense his holiness within. He is holy. Nothing is more holy, better holy than himself. That is the reality of the universe, that the reality of the preaching of Veda, reality of almost all the religions. Only thing is, the effective way of expressions differ, but the aim is same. Man has to elevate. Has to elevate. It's a compulsion on him. How a compulsion? I don't like compulsion. People say I don't like compulsion. It is a compulsion made by you because you're of that bias. You're of that base. Base has to always grow. The conduct a behavior in the freedom is a freedom behavior. Freedom can never be synthesized with the design. Freedom can never synthesize with design. We can see in everywhere externally so many designs we do, so many equipments we do. Freedom spoils the man, spoils his design, spoils his manufactured equipment. Freedom is a destruction for all, right from the beginning to the end. So that attitude man has to shun. Shun. If he doesn't leave it off, Dwamakuttukan Tsochen, it enters that sounding. It enters and makes you sound. Man is the consciousness of Yada, and that consciousness, and to be synthesized with that consciousness and getting revealed is the non-physical electromagnetic field for him. Out of this field, man cannot go out. No being can go out. Every being, the moment it is a subjectivity is non-physical electromagnetic field. Subjectivity is not just some puppet. And out of this design, man cannot just go out. Neither he can even get anything from external to inside. Not possible. He is confined to his field of electromagnetic magnetism. So any course of change, a betterment, elevation is from within, and any disturbance is a disturbance for him. Because it is a disturbance for him, he cannot tolerate it. Because he cannot tolerate because he is biased on a stability. He is biased on stability. Because of that, he cannot tolerate this instability or instability or disturbance. So this never balance. So man has to yield and give away his unstable concepts, and then give a response to his real base. And that event is Vijaya Dasamii. That event is the victory, state of victory. State of victory is always in terms of Krida, Vijikisha. State of victory is always in terms of the Irda. State of victory is always in terms of Irda. This cannot be rewritten, cannot be written other way, cannot be escaped. Right? So let us live in Vijayadashami. Let us not be foolish enough to take it as a festival, enjoy it. If you think of wearing a new dress for festival, forthwith put it in the blast furnace, take a torn cloth, say that I am rich potentially in my non-physical enrichment. I am not rich by these external entities, external identifications. Don't make it a merry-going. Prepare sweets and say, be enjoy. No. These senses should be forthwith given up. Then man can be rich by design. Right? Let's meet again.